traitors. One was named Guy. There was a time in England of fair hiding. In 1605, these men were confiding to kill the king with one mighty blow. His oppression, his tyranny, all had to go. In the basement of Parliament, slowly but sure, barrels of gunpowder were part of the cure. Blow it sky high, they agreed, was the way. Blow it sky high, November 5th was the day.
The king and his minions would perish in flame, but the king did find out he knew Guy Fawkes was to blame. Their hopes of vindication began to fade. With a knock at the door, they'd been betrayed. 12 men in chains, 12 men in locks, 12 men involved, but we remember Guy Fawkes. He was hanged, he was quartered, just like each friend, and a burning at the stake was his bitter end.
And now, how did you hear about this production? Because you came.
Fuzzy, McKennish Guards.
Yeah.
So when I had come back to visit, I played these guys, and then I was back for a while in the fall, and he said, "Come do this thing." I'm like, oh, cool.
Well, then you came and did it, and you were great, did the thing, and then I Googled you, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like,
he's the real deal. It's like, yeah, he's the real deal. He's got a bio and everything.
I'm from here. I used to hang out here, and I love around. So I took my early pension from Screen Actors Guild, and I have a painting career I'm focusing on.
I see all the paint. Geez, you whip those things out.
Well, I work at it. It's like, I'm disciplined. I do like 8-10 hours a day. It's just, that's one thing that show business teaches you. You got to show up whether you feel inspired or not.
Right.
You know, but yeah, I love it here, and I still act. I still do stuff up in Boston from time to time, but I don't know. But this is like so up my alley. This is like when I was playing the bagpipes last year. I was like, shit, man, I'd love to be in this.
That's
what I have to audition for.
We're looking for. You didn't have to audition. I've been doing it the last 20 years.
I ended up in this too. I watched it one year and I was like, this is incredible. How do I be a part of this?
I'm like, it's really easy. You just tell me.
But it's certainly not how I got into this.
You were told. You were voluntold.
Well, you know, Caswell was my boss.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. You were to Seafood Haven, right? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You didn't get paid, did you?
No.
Damn.
Well, I got paid for working for him. I didn't get paid for this.
Is this the podcast right now? Franklin he used to work for us at the restaurant, and no matter what happened, if somebody screwed up, I would go, Franklin! And for the first, 3 weeks, he would come running from another room. Because he was like, a little teenager. And then finally, I'm like, no, it's not really you. It's Franklin is code for someone screwed up.
That just sounds really good when you
It does.
It's a solid 2-syllable name.
Yes.
Right, it sounds like Joe. It's like it kind of loses it, right?
It just falls off the cliff right away.
Well, they probably want to know how this thing was started, so Ryan should explain how Guy Fawkes got started, because Ryan and me and who else? Matt Hopkins
and Steve Douglas.
And Steve Douglas. No, not Steve Douglas.
Yeah, Steve was in the first one.
Al was in the first one.
Al was in the first one.
My first one was 2001.
No, see, you're mistaken.
You're incorrect.
You were there because we wanted to have the Morris Men dance, and because I had never done the play before,
That's right.
I went to the library. I went to the library because it was before the internet was really, and I got a book on Guy Fawkes, and that's where that whole trial part, that really was his trial. Do you deny these events? I have the right to reserve our...
But my first
Did you say the Monty Python
2001, because I was working with Gonzo for Steve Sasasimo that fall of 2001. That's how I know very distinctly it was 2001.
Because I have the script from the first year in a container around the back of that wall.
You're scaring the new guy.
No.
When I showed up solo myself,
Right.
it took a couple years to convince the rest of the guys to join.
That's it. So I said, bring out. We had a Morris dancer.
That's right.
And then George Utter.
Yep.
Who was in charge, rest his soul, who was in charge of the Morris Men. I said, will you guys dance? And he's like, I don't know, what the hell you're talking about? No. And so he did it for a couple of years, which probably made it worse,
I read a part 2 as well as dancing.
And then one year, I don't know what happened, but one year George Utter came up to me. He's like, why the hell are we not dancing for Guy Fawkes? Because it started to take. And then one year, we used to be on the deck of the Andrew with 8 people.
Right, and then that was when it was almost like a cliff, and some of our guys, we were all shoved way in the back.
Right.
And somebody fell off. And it was still November. And one of our guys like, whoa, like because that was, I think that was the.
I remember Bucky fell off one year.
Yeah, and that was like the first year that we did it because Rick Corbett,
love Rick Corbett.
he was part owner. There was
Rick
a market.
Is the reason why you guys
That's
all
how we got
came.
involved
Okay.
because Rick was an owner. He was a member of the association, and
He worked at the Wesley Sun. He was my salesman.
Right, and okay, all right. So
we
yeah,
became
he was working at the
friends.
Sun, and then he voluntold us to do this. Yeah, he voluntold us. He said, "You guys are coming down the." We're going, what the hell are you talking about? So he came down here, and it was like. And it was like Monty Python and Star Trek and everything, and I had to play Sulu one year because Sulu didn't show up.
Oh, wow,
So that was Sulu.
We really haven't changed.
I told you, so it goes recycled material.
What was funny was the first year that it got to be big was 2004 because that was when that guy Wayne, the guy who plays Kirk.
Yeah.
Wayne was in a band with me, and he's the one that we kicked it up a notch. And we were setting up a stage, and he's a set designer, and it was so windy. So we did it in the parking lot because of the wind.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And then all these people showed up, and we were doing. Wayne sang "Stairway to Heaven," and like the crowd just was huge, and it like they screamed, and I'm going, like, where did this come from? Like it was like about 6 or 7 years for this thing to catch on, and then all of a sudden it's become like this thing. And I always sit there every year, and I'm like, shh, is anyone going to show up? And then they just do, and I don't know where they come from.
Out of the woodwork.
It's just so weird. So I hope they follow us to the Windjammer this year. And you've been playing the Queen for a while now.
I have. What an honor. The first time I came to a Guy Fawkes show, I was dating this guy.
That was Denny Lane.
And Denny Lane was on stage.
So you just needed people to fill in the crowd, and M is a ham as much as me, and most of the people sit there. So she was like, yes! So she gets up on stage. And
on stage with Denny Lane? Who gets to do that?
Yeah.
I get goosebumps every time I tell that
That's the
story.
year that I said to Caswell, how do I join this? Because I was sitting there like, how on earth did he get this famous performer to come to Westerly? Like,
Right.
what planet are we on?
You have pictures, don't you?
I have a video. And then so I'm sitting there, we're sitting there with Denny, and like when he's singing Go Now, and I'm thinking, boy, this is a guy who sang that Moody Blues #1 hit, and then when we're singing Band on the Run, and we're doing that Never See a No One, and I'm singing McCartney's part, and he's singing the part he sang on the friggin' album. I'm like, man, either I've come up or he has come way down. I think I know the answer to that. But I'm like, Jesus, he
was on the dude. Oh, why are you still in the area? Come on back to Guy Fawkes.
I did. Well, we paid him. Not much, but we paid him. But he thought it was great.
Yeah,
that was a good year.
Yeah,
that was 2011.
Yes,
right. It's 2011.
I know this stuff. Man, we are just and 22 years of a show.
You go by, how the Andrea had evolved. It was like, okay, we're on the patio, and you could literally fall off before, because I guess they lost a ton of sand, and it was rocks down to the beach. And it's like, okay, and there was you had the reserved seating was inside the dining room, in front of the windows, because we were in that long under the tent.
That was the year because of the rain.
Yep.
Yeah, there was the rain, but on the patio, and I think the patio just got to be too small.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, and then I remember the wind and the bonfire, and we were like, "Are we going to burn the hotel down?" Because it was like.
Sandy took care of that.
And there was some years that we used to do it on Columbus Day weekend, which I thought ensured a better crowd. Yeah. And then we changed it the weekend before. We changed the weekend, and we still always had the crowd. So I'm like, all right, I guess the thing is okay.
It's
just there was a wedding one year, and you had to push it to what, like the
Sunday.
Yeah,
Sunday.
You go to a
Sunday.
So they had to float the Columbus Day Parade too to promote it.
Yeah.
Right. And then there was the time that we had the proposal on stage.
Yeah.
Oh, that made me cry.
Yeah. Well, guess what? They never got married.
No.
They broke up.
Really?
That's
You've ruined the magic.
my illusions. No, I'm done.
How could you?
Now Ryan's I was gonna say a professor, but are you a professor?
No, I'm a lowly teacher.
Why would you be lowly? How are the youth of today?
The youth of today are excited to join us for Guy Fawkes.
That's what I thought.
They know the history and they're fascinated by the.
Do you ever talk about it?
No, I pretend not to be involved in any way, shape, or form. I'm like those crazy kids down at the beach. I don't know what they're doing.
Ryan's like, if you try to find him on social media, he's disguised. I know where to find him. I won't say it on the podcast, right?
Thank you. Yes.
And and now our Sir Edward Koch is a new addition to this.
Yeah, because that was Chris Lucier for the longest time.
Right, now he doesn't even return my calls.
He doesn't return anybody's calls, so it's not.
That's okay because the new Coke is wonderful.
Yeah,
That's what they said in. Never mind. The new Coke is more Coke.
I didn't mean it like that. It's wrong.
It's fine. New formula. It's
New formula.
Oh, you're thinking Coca-Cola.
Thank you for joining us in the present,
I
Captain.
tried.
I was thinking of something else.
Oh, that. Yeah, no.
Like stay away from the brown acid.
Yes, the brown is not specifically too good.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
So the king is on our podcast too. I mean the Coke. Never mind. What's your acting experience?
Oh, I mean a little bit in high school. Nothing, a lot actually.
Oh, you're on.
Oh, yes. A little bit in high school. Not much actually. Meg got me into this.
Lady Meg.
Lady Meg. Yes.
So Meg, we need to talk afterwards because
Hey, I like my Coke the way it is.
I've always been a Pepsi guy.
Is Pepsi okay? Right. But no, it was fun last year, and it's a good time. Yeah.
You know what's funny is that when you go to a restaurant, does anyone ever order a Pepsi?
Yes.
You always say, "I'll take a Coke," and people say, "Is Pepsi okay?" So I always.
It's like a Kleenex. It's like asking for a Kleenex or a thermos. I think.
So I just got so angry at that. I used to sell Pepsi at the restaurant that we started selling Coke because everyone asked for a Coke.
Because who asks for a cola?
Right.
Nobody.
Well,
Can I get one RC Cola?
A Knee-High? A Moxie?
I have a Knee-High.
I gotta have a Moxie.
Moxie. Or you got Moxie, son.
You need a character
The
Moxie.
part about Moxie is
Moxie will both
have
grow
to
hair on your
have
chest and make your teeth fall out.